Hello everybody, welcome back to EPL Fantasy Tips. I'm your host, Simon Barriclaw. In this video, I'll be going over my selections for the upcoming game week. I hope you had a nice weekend. It was uneventful for my squad, unfortunately, because I had several players on the bench that had high points, and all the players that I had on the pitch didn't do so well, so if you took my advice for last week, I'm sorry. My apologies. It was not a good week for me at all. Anyway, with this wild card selection, this new group, I'm still confident with them. You can see my selection is relatively the same. I have a 3-5-2. Actually, I do have a 3-4-3 formation, so it is a little bit different this week. And if you missed my previous video, you can see there's something different on the pitch this week. I'm using the Fantasy Football Fix application. It shows you the players in their upcoming games. So you can see below I have, Connor Cody has 3 game weeks in the green, which is good for him. Cancelo has 4, Trippier has 1, and then there's a middle game against Chelsea, which is not so easy for Newcastle. But if it's a red game, you would likely want to take the player off the pitch. And certainly if it's dark, sort of maroon brown colour, that's not good at all. So anyway, I believe this is a very useful application if you want to install it. It's free for now. Alright, so let's get into the squad. I'll begin with De Gea, the goalkeeper, then move on to the defenders, midfielders, and the forward group. De Gea, he had a very good match against West Ham United last weekend. Don't know if you saw it, but he had a spectacular save at the end of the game. It basically saved them the game and got them 3 points. I am going to keep him on the pitch. And next we're going to the defenders. Got Connor Cody. I like Cody because he's got a low selection rate. ICT index is still relatively strong for the amount of money you have to pay for him. Fixtures coming up, 3 in the green, history. He's done very well in the previous 2 game weeks, 6 points and 7 points respectively. So I'm good with Cody against Leicester. Next we have Cancelo. I know he's relatively highly owned, though his ICT index is strong, and you just need to have him in. He's always one of the top performing defenders in the league. And last week he did alright. 6 points. Fixtures, 4 in the green coming up. And the last defender, we have Trippier. Newcastle is playing Southampton, so it's an easy game for them. His selection rate keeps going up, though his ICT index, it suggests it's very worthwhile to have him in because he's the best defender according to ICT. Last game week he had an assist, 11 points. Can't go wrong with Trippier. Alright, and on to the midfielder group, starting out with Rashford. Rashford had a goal, the only goal for Man U, which won them the game. Still a relatively low selection rate, though I believe it will be going up since he got a goal last game week. ICT index is getting stronger as well. You can see in game week 6 he had 2 goals and assists, so there's potential for him to really do well in any game week. So I believe he's still very great value, and you should have him on your squad. Next we have Martinelli. Although they do play a more difficult game coming up here against Chelsea, Gabriel Martinelli Silva, 49% selection rate, not great, but ICT index is strong. Got a goal last game week. So Martinelli is still staying in against a more difficult club. Next we have Mr. Dependability. Mr. Dependability himself, Wilfred Zaha. Let's have a look at his history. Not so great in the past 2 game weeks, though. In game week 12 against Wolves, he had a goal. In the previous game week, nothing, but then against Leeds, he had an assist. So he tends to perform every second game week, and if not every second, he'll definitely get something in the third, according to his history. Right, so there's Zaha. Next we have Bernardo. I like Bernardo because he plays high minutes every game and relatively low selection rate compared to the rest of the midfielders. And in Gameweek 13 he had 2 assists. Usually it's a high chance he'll get an assist and a goal, though again, like I said, I like him because he scores, or he plays in every game, and usually full 90 minutes. So there's Bernardo against Fulham. I've vice-captained him since they're at home, and he's not selected by everyone in the league, which I like. Next we have Almiron for Newcastle. He's very, very good, surprisingly. I don't know where, he's just come out of nowhere, hasn't he? 3 goals in the past 3 games. He potted 2 against Fulham in Game Week 9, had 1 against Brentford in the next game week. He's really on a roll, so I think it's good to take advantage of it. Low selection rate considering his performance. And lastly, let's move on to the forwards. Wilson, I picked him up for this game week, and he just did so outstanding in the previous game week against Aston Villa. 2 goals, 2 assists, 19 points. Too bad I didn't have him on my squad, and too bad I didn't captain him then. Though for this game week, I think it's a good strategy to have him in. He probably won't have the same performance as last week, but he's basically taken on that striker role for Newcastle. And last but not least, I have Harry Kane. Spurs are playing Liverpool, though it is Harry Kane and he can score in any game. It doesn't matter who he plays. I like him because low selection rate, and Haaland is still questionable. He might still be injured for this game week, so I think Harry Kane is the smarter pick if you want to spend that much money on a striker. And the previous performance, lots of goals, doesn't matter who he plays. He was blanked against Bournemouth, though in the previous game week against Newcastle he got a goal, so he's not showing any signs of slowing down. Alright, so a quick video for this week. I hope you liked the video. Please like and subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think. As always, I'm your host, Simon Berryclaw, and this is EPL Fantasy Tips on YouTube.